My name is Bobby Muller. One of the things that really pissed me off when we were awarded the Nobel Prize for our work against landmines was the romanticized treatment in the media to make people feel good, inspired. It was horse shit. People think that because there's an international treaty that it's done, the job's over. Look, we live our lives largely insulated from the depth of despair, of pain, and anguish. That's why I feel so strongly in going after laws and making them real. The belief that you cannot allow the genocides, the Cambodias, the Rwandas of the world to play out. The world community has to say that conduct won't be tolerated, because if we do allow it, then it's a breeding ground and sows the seeds of destruction. One day, that degree of madness is going to walk up the block and come into your neighborhood.
God has blessed us in America with more riches than we know what to do with. Yet we let millions of children go hungry, without shelter and other basic necessities. Here we have poverty killing children more slowly but surely as guns in a nation that has been blessed with a $9 trillion economy. I am clear that if we do not save our children, we are not going to be able to save ourselves. There comes a point in life when you look around and decide that this is not what life's about, and you have to change things. If that means dying, that's fine. Everybody needs to open up the envelope of their soul and get their orders from inside. And nobody has ever said it was going to be easy. You don't have to see the whole stairway to take the first step. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, just keep moving.
My name is Mohammed Yunus. I started the Grameen program to provide access to credit for the poor. We received criticism from development professionals who insisted that giving tiny loans to poor women who do not have the knowledge and skill does not bring change. They say development involves multi-million-dollar loans for enormous infrastructure projects. But I work with real people in the real world. The night before a woman is going to get her $35 from the bank, she will be tossing and turning to decide whether she is really going to be able to repay the loan, or scared that maybe something terrible will happen to her. And then she holds the money, and she will tremble, and tears will roll down her cheeks, and she won't believe we would trust her with such a large amount of money, $35. And she struggles to pay that first installment and the second installment, and she goes on for 50 weeks in sequence, and every time she is braver. And when she finished her last one, she can say, she did it. She wants to celebrate. It's not just a monetary transaction that has been completed. She felt she was nobody, and she really did not exist. Now she can almost stand up and challenge the whole world, shouting, I can do it. I can make it on my own.
My name is Helen Prejean. When I came out of the execution chamber with Patrick the first time I witnessed a man being killed, I was clear. Clear inside. You are either paralyzed by something like that, or you are galvanized. Galvanized. The resurrection principle of life. Overcoming death and resisting evil. Patrick was dead. But I didn't have a choice. I would take people there. I would take people there through my stories. So, for 15 years, I've been working to stop the death penalty, which is an act of supreme despair. We don't know what else to do, so we imitate criminals' worst behavior. And yet, I believe that if we bring people to their own best hearts, they will respond.
The worst thing is apathy. To sit idly by in the face of injustice and do nothing about it. You don't live your life in fear and give people power over you who want to create fear. It would be better to die early.
It would be better to die early. Like Fauzia Kuzinja. She wanted to die early.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't marry that man. I was 17 and he was 45 and already had 3 wives. But my aunt said, I know you don't love him now, but once you get Kakia, you will learn to love him. Tomorrow will be the day of Kakia. But with the help of my sister, I escaped from Togo. I managed to make my way to the United States with a false passport. I told the immigration officer at Newark Airport that I wanted asylum. Whether I got asylum or not was up to the judge, she said. So you will go to prison. I began screaming. I had done nothing. Why were they sending me to prison? They put me in chains. In the detention center in New Jersey, I met Cecilia Jeffrey, another prisoner. She treated me like a daughter. When I'd go to bed, she would come and tuck me in. I was so sick, and they gave me no medicine. And I thought, if I'm going to die, why don't I go back? And Cecilia said, are you crazy, Fauzia? Do you know what you're going back for? Do you know? Next day, Cecilia was in the shower and asked me to come. And she was standing in there, and she opened her legs apart and said, look, is this what you want to go back to? I didn't know what I was seeing. Do you know what this is? I didn't know. It didn't look anything like female genitalia. Nothing. It was just like a really plain thing, like the palm of my hand. And the only thing you could see was a scar, like the stitch. And just a little hole, that's it. No lips, nothing. Kakia. I said, you live with this. And she said, all my life. I cry all the time when I see it. I cry inside. I feel weak. I feel defeated all the time. And I looked at her and saw the strongest woman on earth. Outside, you can't really tell that she's suffering. She's the most loving person I've ever met. She made me stay. She made me stay and win my case.